Great,
Recording
thank you.
started.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Design Review Commission meeting for Wednesday, August 17th. We'll go ahead and establish a quorum. As I call your name, if you can just say aye if you're present. Sam Harding.
Aye.
Michael Ma.
Aye.
Jude Kirk.
Aye.
David Blockus is here and Frank Bishop is not. So we have 4 out of the 5. We do have a quorum. Sean, do we have any comments that are not on the agenda? Any raised hands?
I do not have, if any member of the public would like to speak regarding an item not on the agenda, please raise your hand. If you're not able to raise your hand, then please unmute yourself and provide your name. Providing your name is optional. I see no member of the public with their hand raised and no member of the public has unmuted themselves. It appears we have no member who would like to speak on an item not on the agenda.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to the consent calendar to the item 1, Design Review Commission meeting minutes. Do we have any questions or comments, or do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Let's take a vote on it. Commissioner Harding,
Aye.
Commissioner Ma,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirk,
Aye.
and Chair Blockus, aye as well. So meetings are approved from last time. And we'll go into our first property, item number 2, the property located at 1800 Alford Avenue. Steve, do we have staff report, please?
Yes, let me get my slideshow going. All right, can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So this is a design review application for a new 2-story residence. The project includes 2,600 square feet at the first story and 802 square feet of the second story, for a total area of 3,402 square feet. There is also a 361 square foot attached accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, at the first story. But just to remind commissioners, that is not part of the design review application, but I just want to make you aware of that. This project did come before the commission previously, so I just wanted to just reorient as far as where we were in this neighborhood on the corner of Morton Avenue and Alford Avenue. We characterize this neighborhood as a consistent character neighborhood according to the city's residential design guidelines. That was established by the regular lot patterns and orientation of the similar sized properties, setbacks. This neighborhood is probably mostly single story, but that being said, there's been a lot of 2-story construction, either new residences or additions. You can see on this slide of the neighboring properties abutting this proposed residence that are already 2-story residences in this neighborhood. So at your January 19th meeting, you did review this project and you continued it with some direction to the applicant and designer. These are listed, the direction is listed on this slide. Briefly, you wanted the garage door style to be changed to match the style of the residence. There was some inconsistencies with the eave overhangs on the elevation plans and the rendering, so you wanted to see more consistency there. And then finally, which I think was maybe the most kind of design related issue, was to really study the stairway at the front elevation to make it less pronounced. And you wanted a more pronounced entry feature. Moving on, I'll kind of skip over this slide, but if you compare this versus the proposed house versus the original house back in January, it's really, the structure is very similar. There was some modifications to the floor area, a slight increase, but no changes to the setback locations for all the setbacks. So really the main design element that have changed is you can see what was proposed on January 19th in the upper part of the slide, the front elevation, and then the revised elevation on the lower portion. And I'll just kind of focus you on a few things. With regards to the garage, you can see that they've proposed a different style garage. They believe it kind of matches their proposed windows with the paneling and kind of the shape of the windows. Also on that garage, you can see the eave overhangs now match and are consistent throughout the rest of the building, which were, they didn't really overhang on the original on January 19th. And then finally, the front entrance area has been extended outward approximately 10 inches in front of that stairway element, which is that two-story element next to it to the left. So that slight articulation in the entryway, it does make it more prominent. The wall plane has been segmented, so it shows as a more pronounced entryway. And then with regards to the stairway element, they took the direction, increased the height of the window in the stairway. They removed the eave or roof element that kind of broke up that plane, but they then added the wainscoting of the stone to the front there. So that was one of the recommendations, to kind of break up that wall plane and have that more of an integrated style there in design. So that's really the summary of the design changes. And finally, here is a rendering of the new proposed two-story residence. And with that, staff recommends the Design Review Commission approve the design review application subject to the findings and conditions contained in the agenda report. And that concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions. And the applicant is also here to provide their own presentation or words that they want to say. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Steve. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
None. No question.
Jude?
No questions.
I don't have any as well. If we could have the applicant and or their designer, may wish to speak, it's your time now.
Hello, good evening. I'm Cornelia Haber. I'm the designer for this project. As a matter of fact, I believe Steve did a very thorough job explaining what our modifications were in order to meet the recommendations of the commission. So unless you have questions, I believe there's not that much that I need to add to this.
Does your client wish to make any statements or anything?
I am not sure if they are on.
Yeah, we are on, but
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, we have nothing to add.
Okay, we'll go ahead and then close that off. Commissioners, any questions for the designer?
Nope. Good design.
No?
Um,
Michael?
Chair, I have a quick question for the designer.
Okay.
Regarding the garage door style, can you quickly explain the change? Yeah, from between the new one and the previous garage door.
Yes, the previous design was showing a garage door that has a grid with glass panels. And basically the entire door had a grid with glass panels. The new design has two solid portions on each side and a glass portion in the middle that matches the proportions of the windows in as you see on the elevation of the house.
Okay, so the middle section are frosted glass or clear glass.
No, it is going to be clear glass.
I see. Okay, and then the on the both side are solid panel.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you are muted.
You're muted.
Chair Pilatus, you are
David,
muted.
you're muted.
I apologize. Steve or Jude, or Steve or Sean, I'll get this correct. Do we have any public comment on this item?
Is there, if there's any member of the public who'd like to speak on this item, please raise your hand. If you're not able to raise your hand, please unmute yourself and provide your name. Providing your name is optional. I do not see any raised hands or unmuted individuals, and it appears we have no member of the public who would like to speak on the item.
Okay, we'll close off public comment and open it up for commissioner discussion. Who would like to begin?
I would. I'm really pleased with this new design. Happy that they took the suggestions, and I think the garage door and the new window look great together, and I'm in favor of the project.
Okay, Michael?
Yeah, I believe the facade, especially the porch, entry porch and the stair, is certainly a big improvement from last time. I still feel a little bit strange about that garage door with the middle clear glass, but I guess that's the owner's choice and designer choice. So I'm also in favor of this project.
Commissioner Kirk?
Yes, the changes, first of all, thanks to the applicant and owner. I think the changes are very positive, although they're very subtle. It clearly, in our view, improves the overall architectural design, especially the entry element coming forward and the staircase. I'll leave it up to the applicant to decide whether they want a clear glass window into their garage. That's up to them, but stylistically, I think the door is much more in line with the overall architectural scheme. So on that note, I think the design meets all our design guidelines, and I'm in favor of the project.
Great, thank you. I as well support the project. I would recommend a frosted glass for the garage, but as Commissioner Kirk and everyone else has pointed out, it is entirely up to the applicant to make that choice. So I also support the project. Do I have a motion?
I'll move SC 20-0018, 1800 Alfred Avenue, based on the findings and conditions for approval.
Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and vote. Commissioner Hardy,
Aye.
Commissioner Ma,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirk,
Aye.
and Chair Blockus, I support it as well. Passes 4-0. Congratulations.
Chair Blockus, can I confirm the second? I heard two voices. I didn't.
It was both. It was either Michael or Jude. They both said it at the same time. So
Pick one.
yeah, I would say Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we move on to item number 3, which is the property located at 390 Cecilia Way. Jai, do we have a staff report?
Yes, of course. So let me share my screen and the PowerPoint. Okay, good evening, Chair and Commissioners. This is Jia Liu, Special Planner. Tonight, I'm presenting a design review application for FC 22-0004 for the construction of a new two-story house at 390 Cecilia Way. The project scope consists of 2,515 square foot living space at the first story and 1,575 square foot living space at the second story. A basement of 2,814 square feet is also proposed underground. In addition, a 762 square foot attached ADU is part of the project, but it's not part of our discussion tonight. Lastly, the rendering on the slide presents the new house appearance from the corner of Casita Way and Cecilia Way. The subject property is located on the southeast corner of Cecilia Way and Casita Way, which is close to the city boundary to the northeast side. With regard to the characteristics of the immediate neighborhood, staff finds the neighborhood is considered as a diverse character neighborhood as defined in the city's residential design guidelines. The homes in the immediate neighborhood context are a combination of one-story and two-story homes, with two-story homes at 615 Casita Way and 561 Cecilia Court. Properties located north of Casita Way appear to have consistent front setback patterns, while properties located at the south side of Casita Way in the neighborhood perform distinct setback patterns as a result of multiple corner lots and their corresponding lot orientation. The immediate neighborhood features low to moderate scale horizontal eave lines with wall plates that appear to be between 8 to 9 feet in height, and all the garages are attached to the existing homes in the front yard facing the street. Roof forms are a combination of simple and complex roof forms due to certain homes renovation over the years. Common materials found in the neighborhood include a variety of roofing materials, such as composition shingles, wood shakes, and tiles. The exterior materials commonly used include stucco, horizontal wood siding, and board battlement siding with stone veneer or brick accents. This slide provides a proposed site plan to the right. The proposed first story massing is outlined in the bolded black line with the second story cross hashed in gray. The red lines indicate the existing structure's footprint, including a one-story house, a detached garage, and a detached ADU. Compared to the existing home's footprint, the proposed structure will be extended slightly to the rear yard, but further refined away from the left property line. The proposed setback of the structure will be beyond the minimum setback requirements, with at least 20 feet side setbacks for the first story and 25 feet side setback for the second story. Rear setback include 28 feet and 8 inches to the proposed patio cover, 30 feet to the structure at the first story, and 34 feet to the structure at the second story. The house is also found consistent with other R1-10 zoning district standards, including but not limited to the lot coverage, floor area ratio, daylight plane, and height limit. This is the basement plan, including a large recreation room, activity room, 2 bedrooms, and 2 bathrooms. The basement is conditioned to be 110 volt wiring only to prevent from converting this area into a second kitchen without proper permits from the city in the future. This is the first floor plan. The first floor will be mainly used for family and living rooms with a large kitchen. Next to the family room to the south, it is a covered patio. Additionally, there will be 1 office room, 1 library room, 2 half bathrooms, and attached 2-car garage that will face Casita Way. The second story floor plan includes 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. This slide provides the proposed front elevation on the top and the new streetscape facing Cecilia Way at the bottom. The front elevation is found compatible in design with surrounding neighborhood by using design elements that have hip and gable roof forms, reset second-story massing from the first story, horizontal eave lines, 4-foot and 2-inch projecting front porch, 1-inch reveals at the second-story gable windows for more architectural texture, and articulated architecture on both first and second floor with stone veneer accents and a vertical wood siding to soften the appearance of the proposed structure. And at the first floor, 2 wall plates are proposed, including the predominant plate height of 9 feet and 6 inches, and a 10-foot and 4-inch plate height for the family room only facing the rear yard. The second floor, there's a uniform plate height of 9 feet and 1 inch designed. Regarding the roof pitches, the proposed 2-story house has a 4.5 in 12 roof pitch for the first story and 6 in 12 roof pitch for the second story. The roofing material will be standing thin metal roof. This is the exterior side elevation facing Cecilia Way. And this elevation also provides compatible gable and hip roof forms with consistent horizontal eave lines, articulated architecture with consistent vertical siding and stone veneer, and enhanced garage exterior design with cement plaster finish and recessed vertical siding to reduce the visual dominance of the garage. While the staircase has a 2-story tall appearance, staff finds that it is consistent with the residential design guidelines due to its proportionate scale with the stone veneer finish, recessed massing from the first 2 gables, and the windows breaking up the vertical appearance of the feature. This is the east side elevation. 4 windows are proposed at the second floor with a minimum sill height of 4 feet and 8 inches and beyond, which should not have privacy impact to the neighbors to the east side. And this is the rear elevation. Along the second story, there are 7 windows proposed with a variety of window sill heights and rear setbacks. From the left to the right on this elevation, the worst surface are recessed further on this elevation. These 4 windows highlighted in the red boxes are small windows with sill height greater than 5 feet that should not cause any privacy issue. And then the 2 medium-sized windows to the right are designed for a bedroom and a laundry room with the same sill height of 4 feet and 2 inches. And the setback to this worst surface will be 54 feet and 9 inches. And the last 3-panel large window is designed for the primary bedroom, have 2 feet and 8 inches sill height with a rear setback of 45 feet and 9 inches. Given that the setbacks for the proposed windows along the rear elevation and newly planted screening vegetation, which will be discussed in the next slide, staff found the designs consistent with the residential design guidelines to minimize the privacy impact. So this is the landscaping plan. As you can find, there will be a number of screening vegetation planted along the rear property line and the side property line. The screening vegetation includes clumping bamboo, giant bird of paradise, and Torbay desert grass palm. And at the screening vegetation's mature age, the plants were reached to 12 feet to 20 feet tall and 5 feet to 10 feet wide. With regard to the existing trees, there are 8 existing trees greater than 4 inches in diameter in the vicinity of the subject site, and they are further assessed by the subject arborist. The Arbus Report is provided in attachment B of the agenda report for your information. And 5 out of the 8 trees will be proposed for removal, including 4 shrubs and 1 protected tree, which is the fruitless mulberry tree that is located close to the newly proposed driveway. Given to the tree's pool form and health throughout the canopy, staff found it is appropriate to be removed and replaced with other trees. The landscaping plan proposed 9 new trees with a minimum size of 15 gallons or 24-inch container box that will be mostly planted in the front and the exterior side yard. It is also worth mentioning that the Arbus Report assessed the proposed construction should not impact the long-term health of the large oak tree, which is located in the neighbor's yard, and also pointed out by this red arrow on the slide. However, staff is concerned with potential impacts from the proposed basement and site improvements under the drip line. So in order to ensure the proper tree protection measures, staff added condition number 5 in the report to require a shoring plan to be included in the construction plan set and shall be further assessed by the subject arborist by providing a certification letter prior to the building permit issuance. And this slide provides the materials board for your information, which has been presented in the previous slides too. And lastly, for the community outreach, the owner did the outreach by hosting a meeting at home and also sending out letters to the immediate neighbors. The proof of such community engagement was provided in attachment E, and the applicant also installed a billboard according to the Brown Act requirements in attachment D and also to the left of the slide. So with all the information presented, staff now recommends the Design Review Commission approve the design review application SC22-0004, subject to the listed findings. So now staff concludes the presentation, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your listening.
Great, thank you, Jai. Commissioners, do we have any questions for Jai?
None for Harding.
Jude, go ahead. I see your hand raised.
Yeah, 2 quick questions. Jai, you mentioned something about the kitchen in the basement. Is there a restriction against having a second kitchen in the house?
So only if you have an ADU as part of the basement, then it is allowed for a second kitchen in the same unit. However, they are proposing one attached ADU and as part of the project. Unless in the future the owner would like to apply for a junior ADU, then they cannot have a second kitchen at the basement level.
And a second quick question, is there any restrictions against having a door from the ADU into the main house?
We allow the internal circulation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ma, any questions?
Yes, Jai, I have a question. It's about the setback. Since this property is at the corner lot, is Casita Way considered the front yard, or because I'm looking at the site plan A1.1, and compared to the first page of staff report, I'm not very clear. Can you clarify a little bit?
So this is a corner lot, and the average lot width and the average lot depth are both greater than 100 feet.
Okay.
So in such case, it's either the design designating the Cecilia Way to be the front yard, or the Casita Way to be the front yard would be acceptable. So the applicant has the option to choose the orientation of the house. I see. And they chose the Cecilia Way to be the front yard.
Got it. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. That's what I have. Thank you.
Sam, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, Jai, I have one. In the, I guess now side yard, the 2-story stairway. Was there any discussion about breaking that up, and or any discussion from the landscape side of putting that, having a little bit larger trees or something in front of that to kind of break up that mass? When I look at the 3D rendering, it has a nice large tree kind of blocking that off. And since the house is on a corner, both sides look large. And having the two-story single element, was there any discussion about sort of breaking that apart?
There was some discussion initially for that two-story tall appearance facing the Casita Way. So the applicant has incorporated the stone veneer and also the windows to break up the wall plane. Additionally, I believe they are proposing trees in front of that element, as you can see from the landscaping plan. So given that this two-story tall element will be recessed further from the garage and this room elevation, so staff consider it is it's appropriate in design to have
Okay, but
this.
there wasn't any discussion about landscaping, like where your arrow is right now, kind of in the little pocket there. Yeah, in that area of larger or taller plants.
Yeah, staff did not ask for
Okay.
trees in front of this corner.
Alrighty. Thank you. That's all the questions I have. So why don't we go ahead and open it up to the architect and or the applicant? It is now your time to speak on the project.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, planning staff. Thank you, commissioners. I'm the architectural designer of the house, and we've been working with staff really closely for the past 6 months to bring down the ideas of this house to adapt to the neighborhood. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if anything, and provide some visuals. I would also like to present the homeowner, which is actually here on the call with us. She would like to join in and say a few words. Jess.
Hi there. I think I'm still sort of showing up, but oh, hang on. Sorry. There. Hi there. I'm Jess. I currently live in Mountain View. I've lived in the Bay Area for 20 years. I'm the mom of 3 young kids who are 3, 5, and 7 right now, and we're super excited to move into the neighborhood. We're a multi-generational household right now. My parents help with the kids, and so we're all very excited to have a little bit more space after this pandemic in our 1,200 square foot home for everybody to stretch out a bit. But yes, I'm really grateful for this project and excited for it to proceed ahead, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Jess. Okay, so as I was saying, we've been through a few iterations of the house and working with staff to get to where it is today. And it would like they were addressing a question of giving a little bit of breaking up the tower. So we've provided some landscaping to block a little bit of the house and give a little bit of privacy to the house. And I would like to show a few images. Yeah. Let's see. If you can see my screen. Let's see. Can't get. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Nothing on it yet.
No.
Yeah, it just has your logo. I don't know if you move it down or whatnot.
Yeah, Chuck, it looks like we're seeing like 2 screens sort of divided,
Yeah.
but like the slides are.
Oh yeah.
When we stop it.
Let's see. I'll stop and I'll share again.
Do the left.
There we go. You see it now?
No.
Strange.
Why don't you double click, or it said double click to enter full mode.
Right to. That's not working. No, I'm sorry.
Does staff have a copy of this or it's just your own?
I don't have a copy of this.
Okay.
If the applicant would like to quickly email it to staff, we could potentially open it for you.
Sorry, let me see. Is this screen share?
Can you email?
You can start screen share while other participant is sharing.
Say someone else is sharing?
Let me see. Participant share screen. There we go.
There you go.
It's seeing? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right, perfect. So here's a little bit of family pictures of Jess Stang and her family. And okay, so going back to the planting that we were talking about, that Jia was talking about, here's a stairwell, and here's the planting proposed by our landscape architect. I'll show you a few visuals over here. Is it loading? Why does it knock me off? So strange. Right here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right, perfect. Yeah, so this is the intention of this. The stairwell is recessed, I believe, about 35 feet back in the side setback, and we're breaking it up a little bit with the trees. Here we put a little bit of transparency so you can see what they are blocking. But the trees, really, these are mandarin trees, which are pretty dense in nature. And alongside the casita way, they really give privacy to the house in either direction. And yeah, let me see here. This is the side, this is Casita Way, and this is Cecilia Way. This is the existing house with the silhouette of the new one and the proposed new planting, as we can see over here. Okay, this is the Cecilia Way side. And these are the materials that we're proposing for the house. These are the privacy issues that we worked with staff on our first comments on our first design review, and we raised this window to 5'4" of the sill height, so it's a really private window. You have to be really tall to see through this, and after that, the big oak tree blocks your view. And from the master bedroom window from the south side would be looking down the other house, blocked by our screen planting vegetation, which are Stairwell Nicolai, the scientific name, planted along here in the back. Yeah. Any questions?
No.
So are you complete with your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, because then we'll sort of shut you guys down and then I'll open it up to the commissioners to ask questions.
Sure.
Okay, so commissioners, any questions for the applicant or the architect? Jude?
Quick question, just on the ADU, is there intent to rent that out as a unit? Because there is the ability to have a door into the main house. So just kind of curious.
That's correct. We gave that option to the client back then, but he really wants it for a little bit of privacy for his either home office or place to hang out. So we don't want a connection to the house itself.
Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, any questions?
No, I don't have any question.
Sam?
No, I like the project. No questions.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to go back to those front couple of trees. What sizes are those going in, and how, by the garage there, sort of masking the stairway?
So these are, I believe, 15-gallon trees, and they're about, I believe about 12 to 13 feet in height once adults. So
Okay.
yeah, they're fruit trees. So it's part of the intent of the house. Right now, currently, they have a beautiful orange tree in the back that they want to keep, and it's to keep that same character along the side of the Casita Way, and they it's part of their vegetable garden, and should bring a lot of fun to the house.
Okay. And then the second question, which is not bearing on any of our decisions per se, it relates to the ADU. A suggestion might be, I know you've got parking for the ADU at the garage area. It looks like to me that the ADU's on the other side, and there might be, I guess, sort of, if you were to take the swimming pool and go straight out to the street, it looks like there might be a little area that you can put a parking pad there, which might make it more convenient for those using the ADU. But again, we don't regulate ADUs. That's just a suggestion.
Correct. Yeah, thank you for your recommendation.
And I do not have any further questions. So let's go ahead and close that off and then open up to public comment. Jai, do we have any, or Sean, do we have any public comments on this item?
1 second. If there's a member of the public who would like to speak regarding this item, please raise your hand. There are currently no raised hands. If a member cannot raise their hand, please unmute yourself and provide your name, providing your name is optional.
Am I
unmuted?
muted or
You're unmuted. If you'd like to provide your name, which is optional, please do.
Sandra Satterfield? I'd definitely like to announce my name. Sandra Satterfield. I live in the house in back of the new project at 562 Cecilia Court. I've lived there for over 40 years, raised my 3 children, had several remodels done for the house. And I have some questions. I think I sent those questions into the commission or to the planning person as things that I'm concerned about that can affect my living in my own property. So the first one is where the stairwells are located. I don't know what page that is. I'm looking at this on a PDF file that is not, I guess, it says A1.1 site plan. I guess that's the page. And one of the light wells indicates that there's going to be 2 large air conditioners. And I'm concerned about the noise and vibration of 2 large air conditioners that will be in the light well that is right across from my bedroom. So we're talking about 10 feet away from the fence and possibly another 10 feet to my bedroom. My house is a framed house, and so I have concerns about that and want to know how that would be handled, taken care of. That's one of my first concerns. Is there any comments about that concern?
Sean, do you want to answer that?
So yes, so condition number 18 in the findings and conditions require that at time of building permit, the applicant will need to provide us the location of their air conditioner units, including the model, manufacturer, and decibel rating. And they will need to be able to confirm that the ACs comply with the city's noise control ordinance. So that will occur at the building permit stage, and it is a condition of approval.
Okay, and so I guess I'm just asking for some kind of specs on that, you know, to understand what vibrations and air conditioning, you know, I don't know anything about this. And I just want to make sure that after all is done and I'm in my bed one night and all of a sudden the air conditioning comes on and I'm being vibrated. So that is, so if that is part of, I want to make that a condition of that, the speculations or specs of the models or whatever, that it is what they say a quiet unit and it doesn't make too much noise. So you're saying that's part of the Planning Commission's responsibility.
Correct, and it will meet all the requirements.
Okay, well, that is a big concern of mine because I saw the air conditioners and I said, you have 6,000 square feet building and the type of BUTs that will be needed to keep that cool and air conditioned and air controlled. I just see that as pretty powerful, and it's a little bit too close to my bedroom. I would hope that it would be taken into consideration and they would be moved somewhere else, maybe a little bit further down, but down the line of that side of the house, and not directly across from my bedroom. That is what my concern is. Another concern about noise is that there is, and I don't know if this is part of the Planning Commission or whatever, but I'll bring that up as my concern, and that is where the spa and pool will be located. And again, that's right up against my deck, you know, where my outdoor living spaces, and there's a concern also about noise and vibrations. And so that would be something else I would be concerned about, is that they have equipment or whatever the newer stuff is. I have no idea. That would be part of their selection of the various machinery they use for spas and pools, that it would not give off a certain amount of noise that would be disturbing to a neighbor.
Okay, you are out of time, but just to let you know, all of it will, the pool location and the noise and all that is part of kind of the building requirements, the codes, so that's all the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so their property will meet all those requirements.
Okay, and then
well, no, I'm sorry, you've over your 3 minutes of allotted time.
Okay, well, let me just say that I have written all these things down to the planning person, and she has my concerns available so they can be taken to each one of you, given to each one of you. They should be already posted.
All righty, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sean, is there any other public comment on the item?
Sorry about that. No, there are no other individuals that have raised their hand. If there is anyone else who would like to unmute themselves and provide their name, which is optional, and speak on this item, please do that. So it appears we do not have any other individuals who'd like to speak on the item, Chair.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment. We do, as an option for the applicant and the architect, since we did have public comment, if you'd like to make any comments regarding that or rebuttal, you have 5 minutes for a rebuttal, should you wish to have one.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your concerns. We will work closely to make the least impact as possible. You mentioned something about the pool equipment. I just wanted to let you know that it's on the other side of the property. It's by Casita Way, so you won't get any noise coming from the pool equipment in its current design. We carefully considered these noise levels to affect minimum to all our surrounding neighbors. So thank you for sharing your concerns with us. We'll really take them into consideration.
Great, thank you. We'll go ahead and close that off. Commissioners, should we have our discussion? Who would like to begin?
Jude.
Well, while the applicant was talking there, I was just thinking since the pool equipment is over on Casita Way, why can't the AC units be moved over there?
It's a possibility. Right now, we haven't really determined the final position of them. Right now, we suggested to put them in the light well. It made sense to us right now. They meet the town requirement and the city's requirement for setbacks, and we usually use the more of the quiet 50 sub 50 decibel rating air conditioning units. That will come in on the official building plans that we submit, and we'll work with staff to make sure that they're in the best position possible.
Have you considered some sound attenuation materials on the walls in these light wells to try to dampen the sound that are spilling out of them?
There is an idea of placing ivy growing down on the walls of the light wells, not only for visual purposes, but as well as noise mitigation as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Michael or Sam?
No questions.
No question.
Yeah, I'm good as well. So we'll go ahead and close that off. Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
Well, commentary.
Or let's have commentary. Yeah, that's what I meant.
That was solely a question. Well, I don't know, I'll kick it off, but it's interesting. Tonight we see 3 corner lot projects. So first of all, I commend the architect to address both edges of the property, which is always our concern. I think the design is great. It really hits the mark of everything we look in the design guidelines. I think there's been an attempt working with staff to address the privacy of the neighbor directly behind the woman that just spoke. Sorry, I didn't catch the name, but yeah, between the adjustment in the windows facing the side property line and then the mature trees that are over there, I think our concerns about privacy impact have been addressed. I'm also pleased to see that staff and the applicant have recognized the potential impact of the light wells on the trees, and there's a request for a shoring plan and an Arbus report. So once again, that would have been a suggestion on our end, but I think that's already been addressed. In terms of the staircase on the other end, given the setback from the street and how it's recessed and the landscaping and the material change, I think that's a great solution without any concern on our end. I really like the palette of materials. I think it's going to be quite an attractive home. So in general, I am in favor of this project as designed and per the conditions that the staff has suggested in the staff report.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Ma?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, I generally like the design. The privacy has been addressed, a good use of material and proportionally on the design itself. However, this is a corner lot, and I look at the surrounding are mostly one-story, whole neighborhood. By looking at the rendering looks very nice. It's a very nice design, but the context here in the corner lot and then the neighborhood, somehow I have some concern. If you look at the A3.1, the elevation, I mean, the rendering looks nice proportion, but when I look at the A3.1, the front elevation, somehow the second floor looks too massive for me, proportionally. it has a 9 foot or 9'1" plate height. And also the second floor, it's only looks like about 3 feet setback from the ground floor. So that's the only concern I have. And then I know there's some tree shown on the rendering, which of course is very nice, but the tree most of them are like for the screening from the streets, 24-inch box, which gonna starting with what 6 to maybe 6-7 feet tall to begin with. It's gonna take a while to grow. But anyway, I'm debating that. I somehow kind of debating with myself that whether or not I will support the project or not. Anyway, I would like to hear other commissioners' comments too.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Ma. Commissioner Harden.
Yeah, I like the project and I would be in support.
Okay. And I will make my comments. I like the project. It is a large home, however, it is a tall home. It's under the 27 feet, which is fine. But it does have, like the other two houses, it is a corner lot, so it's a little bit tricky because you have two sides that face the street. However, I'm leaning to support the project because we are in a diverse neighborhood, so we have a little bit more flexibility in style and whatnot. The plate heights are within the ranges that we use, although on the higher end for that. My biggest concern, and I think it's less of a concern now, is that stairway. I'd like to see some sort of smaller plant that kind of goes in there that maybe goes to 6, 8, 10 feet, that kind of cuts the bottom portion off. But I don't think, and looking at it further, that that's such a huge issue to say, oh no, you need to put a tree there. I think the street trees, once they reach 2, 3, 4 years down the line, will be sufficient to set it off. I do like the driveway isn't massive, which to me would create more, cement, and then adding to a perception of mass and bulk, even though it's, ground level. Just seeing a lot of cement or stucco or wood siding or whatnot. So at this point, I do support the project. Jude, did you have your hand up? Go ahead. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was trying to get you to get some people to mute themselves because there was a lot of feedback.
Would you like me to repeat what I said?
Yes, please repeat that. If you're not speaking, please mute yourself. So, but anyhow, following up on your Michael's and your comments, we have been reasonably consistent in our plate heights on the second story. So once again, I'm in favor of the home, but I think the home would not be compromised with the lower plate height on the second story, whether it's 6 inches or a foot or whatever Michael perceives to be best. The planting plan, once again, I always encourage more mature planting, the larger the box size, so we can get immediate effect from what we're out there, because I agree that 24-inch box is going to take a few years. So if it would help you to suggest a larger box size and some intermediate planting at the base to minimize the impact of the stair, I would be in support of that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I look at the house. It is a large house, and normally when we look at mass and bulk on houses, privacy also becomes an issue. Where this house to me doesn't have any privacy issues, and part of that is you're missing one of what typically is a 3-sided privacy issue, since it's on the corner lot. So it's sort of the privacy goes away, and then you look a little bit more towards mass and bulk. But I think in my mind, I would accept it as it is, with maybe the thought of the 2 trees as a condition to make the 2 trees that are on the driveway side, from the driveway going to the corner. So the 2 there that kind of would potentially block out the stairwell to be a little bit larger size, and I'm fine with the rest of the project.
Thank you.
Applicant, why don't you just hold your question? Let us finish a little bit. I will allow you to answer that question that I posed at the end. So Sam, no more questions. Michael, no more discussion.
No more questions. I approve.
Chair, I would like to, regarding the tree, you mentioned about the 2 tree near the drive, in front of the driveway, right?
The 2 trees that basically would be used as screening trees on the street that face the 2-story stairwell. So if you're looking at the house just left of the driveway.
I see. Okay, what about the other 2 new tree facing Cecilia Way in the front? Do you think that
I don't have a
size?
problem with that, because I think the architecture, the 1st and 2nd story, the articulation, everything is sort of, for lack of an unsophisticated speak, it is chopped up enough that to me it doesn't show as a large massive house. It's broken up enough that makes it flow good, that I'm comfortable with having trees that aren't as big there, versus the more immediate need in my mind to have the stairwell, from that, for people kind of driving that way. Because if you're coming up the street on the right hand side, you hit the garage and then you hit the stairwell and so on. So if you have those 2 trees there, I think in a larger size, I would be fine with accepting the project as is.
Okay, makes sense. All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay, any other further discussion before I allow the applicant to make a comment, I think addressing the trees? Okay, go ahead. Or the architect, you had your hand raised in regards to, I believe, the tree question.
Yes, I'm Matthew Harrigan. I'm the owner of Timeline Design Build. And
Okay.
Due to these trees being in the front, it's very easy for us to increase the box size. I think that going anything over a 36-inch, my understanding from the arborist is that the trees don't generally grow as fast when you start out with a bigger box. So perhaps we go to a 36-inch box that would be larger, but still not kind of oversized. So it'd still have a good health over time. Very simple,
Okay.
being in the front yard. Happy to do that.
Yeah, okay. And so I'm fine with that, as adding that to the conditions and then accepting it as is.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Do I have a motion or any further discussion?
Well, I'll move that we approve SC 22-0004 at 390 Cecilia Way for the findings and conditions in the staff report, with the additional condition that the 2 trees in front of the staircase on the driveway side are increased to 36-inch box size.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and vote. Commissioner Harding,
Aye.
Commissioner Ma,
Aye.
Commissioner Currit,
Aye.
and Chair Blockus, aye as well. So with that one change, we approve your project. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you so much, staff and commissioners. Really appreciate your time and effort to make this happen.
well,
Thank
thank you. And thank you, Jai, for having a nice complete package.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's move on to item 4 for the property at 614 Torwood Lane. Sean, Do you have a report from staff?
Here we go. Thank you. Good evening, Chair Blockus and Commissioners. The application tonight is for a design review application for a two-story addition to a one-story house. The project includes an addition of 343 square feet at the first story, 730 square feet at the second story. Let me get this to move. The subject property is located on the corner of Torwood Lane and Pine Lane. The surrounding neighborhood is considered consistent character as defined in the city's residential design guidelines. In the immediate neighborhood context, there are primarily one-story ranch-style houses that are of a similar size, footprint, design, similar scale, and more rustic in nature. There is a two-story neighboring house at 619 Torwood Lane. It maintains a similar horizontal emphasis, but it does introduce a greater scale into the neighborhood. The average width of the subject parcel is 82.5 feet, which is below the minimum width of 90 feet for standard corner lots in the R110 district. Therefore, the lot is considered a corner lot. Due to being a corner lot, it is allowed a reduced setback of 16.5 feet. The 343 square foot one-story addition occurs at the rear of the house. That's highlighted in red on the right side of the screen. It is created to provide a new living room, dining room, kitchen area, and entry room and reorganizing of the first floor area. A 720 square foot addition is proposed at the second story, and that is on the left side of your screen. This is proposed for a new master bedroom suite with a laundry, a closet, and master bathroom. While the house is non-conforming due to having a narrow lot width and also having a non-conforming front yard setback, the house will retain the existing 50.5% of the existing roof form, which is below the required 50% threshold. Therefore, the non-conforming setbacks are allowed to be retained. The existing house has a traditional ranch architectural style with gable roof forms, low-scale forms, and simple details. The gable roof form and overall facade has been maintained to minimize the impact to the existing house by placing the second story over the existing one-story house. The lower scale 421 square foot or lower scale first story addition is located along the southwest corner of the rear of the house, and the 730 square foot second story addition is located along the left side of the house. It is recessed into the gable roof form for bedroom number 3. The project does have low eave lines, which is appropriate in keeping with the low profile of adjacent homes. The project's form as compared to the surrounding structure is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. The project materials, which include a composition shingle roofing, horizontal cement siding, wood trim and details, staff believes is consistent with the overall character and style of the home and the neighborhood. And overall, staff believes the project's details, materials maintain an appropriate relationship to the rustic qualities of the area and is compatible with the home again. See if this will switch, sorry. Along the proposed left elevation, the second story is recessed into the existing roof form to diminish the overall mass and bulk of the second story, which reduces the overall effect of the second story. Overall, the design incorporates the simple roof forms, low eave horizontal lines, again, to break up the second story massing for the structure. Along the right side, there are 3 windows proposed, one small size window in the shower of the master bathroom with a 4-foot 2-inch sill height, a small size window in the laundry room with a 4-foot 2-inch sill height, and a large 6-panel window in the stairwell with a 3-foot 8-inch sill height. Since the master bathroom and laundry windows do not create potential privacy concerns due to the small size of the window and the sill height, furthermore, potential views are obscured by the existing roof form at the first story, that lies in front of the windows, which obscures views to the adjoining property. Staff believes that the windows do not create significant privacy concerns to neighboring properties along the side or rear yards. Privacy impacts from the stairwell windows are diminished due to being set back 46.75 feet from the right side property line and 53.4 feet from the rear property line. The low sill window in the stairwell may be perceived to create privacy issues. To ensure that there are no additional privacy impacts, staff does recommend condition 2A to require fast evergreen screening along the right property line to maintain a reasonable degree of privacy. Therefore, as designed with the right facing windows with condition 2A, staff believes the proposed screening vegetation with the setbacks will maintain a reasonable degree of privacy for properties along the right side facing windows. On the rear southeast elevation of the second story, there are two small windows in the master bedroom with 3-foot 8-inch sill heights. Again, due to the small window size and the windows being set back 50 feet from the rear property line, the staff does believe that the windows do not create significant privacy issues for adjoining properties. There are a total of 14 existing trees throughout the site. The applicant is proposing to remove one African fern pine tree in the exterior side yard due to being within the footprint of the proposed addition. Due to the scope of the work being limited to 421 square feet at the ground level, the applicant expects to preserve existing landscaping, and therefore they did not provide a detailed landscape plan. If the applicant does result in rehabilitating or modifying more than 2,500 square feet of landscaping, condition 5 will require the project to conform to the city's water efficient landscape ordinance. The applicant did provide an Arbus report, which is an attachment to the report. And the Arbus report does review and evaluate the trees on the proposed site. With the exception of the trees along the exterior side, all trees drip lines are outside of the proposed footprint of the structure. Staff's recommendation is to approve design review application SC 22050 consistent with the findings and conditions in the staff report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
None.
Michael?
No
Drew?
question. No question.
No questions.
I have one question. Do we know what's being built next door?
I do not. I'm sorry, I do not know what's being built.
I'm assuming it's a single story since well, unless it was done before I was here.
I can always research that and find that out.
No,
when the applicant.
Well, maybe the applicant can tell us if they know. That's my only question. So why don't we go ahead and go to the applicant and their architect?
Yeah, this is Nitin. We're the applicant, Nitin and Ruchira Sood. We don't know for sure what's being built next door. We don't remember it, but I think it's likely a single story house, but it's being built from scratch. But we don't know for sure.
Okay. Do you have a presentation? What does your designers have? Are they going to do a presentation or?
Our designer's on the line, Bob. Bob, are you on mute? I don't think Bob had a presentation. He was just ready to answer any questions.
Okay, well, we can go straight to questions if you'd like, but we always want to give you the opportunity to talk about the project should you wish to.
Chair Blockus, for your information, that the property next door has been approved for 3,251 square foot, 1-story house.
Okay, thank you. Any basement?
I can find the plans. It'll just be a second. I'll look.
Okay.
I think no comments from us. I think we've been working, with staff through our through Bob, who's our designer and architect, and making modifications that the staff suggested. So, we're thankful here that you guys are giving it consideration today.
Okay. We'll then go ahead and go to commissioners. Do we have questions for the applicant and or the designer?
No questions.
No questions.
Jude?
Um,
The only question I have is, there might be a suggestion, question or whatnot, is replacing the fence on the right-hand side of the property where the construction is. Have a conversation with, if you haven't, with the people who are building there. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Thank you for the suggestion. Yep, makes sense.
Sean, if we can go to public comment at this point, if we have anything.
If there is a member of the public who would like to speak, please raise your hand. If you're not able to raise your hand, please unmute yourself and provide your name. Providing your name is optional. I do not see any members of the public who have raised their hand, and no one has unmuted themselves.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment and begin our discussion. Michael, would you like to begin?
Yeah, sure. The project is pretty straightforward. Is a small second floor addition with a very minimal impact to the privacy with the, and besides all the mature tree along the side. So I'm fully support this project.
Okay, Jude?
Yeah, similar commentary. It's a small addition. It's in the place that it should be. There's been a reasonable attempt to mitigate some of the impact so it doesn't look like a bump. But anyhow, as designed, I guess I'm in support of the project.
Sam?
Yes, I am also in support of the project.
Okay, I support the project as well. Do we have a motion?
So I move to approve item number SC 21-0050 at 614 Tonewood Lane by accepting all the findings and conditions.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Commissioner Ma?
Aye.
Commissioner Harding?
Aye.
Jude?
Yes.
And Dave, Commissioner Blockus supports it as well, so it passes 4-0. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
I don't know if you can hear me. This is Bob Fleury. Sorry, my Zoom just crashed on me, so I'm on the phone. I apologize for that.
Oh,
Well,
but
you're done.
You're the
Look, yeah,
designer.
I'm late to the party anyway, so.
Well, the party has ended. Enjoy your time. The project was approved.
Yes, I got that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to item 5, the property at 331 Edna Court. Sean, can we have staff report?
Yes. Good evening, Chair Blockus and Commissioners. The project before you tonight is a 933 square foot second story addition to an existing one-story house. The project does include a 667 square foot attached accessory dwelling unit, which is not for consideration by the DRC tonight. The subject property is located in a diverse character neighborhood as defined in the city's residential design guidelines. The house is located on the west side of Edna Court off of South Almonte Avenue. Surrounding neighborhood consists of both 1- and 2-story houses that vary in setbacks, size, age, architectural style, and material. There are 2 2-story houses directly across the street from the property and 3 houses that are directly across Payne. In regards to zoning compliance, the subject property has a non-conforming first-story side yard setback of 9.5 feet and 9.7 feet respectively along the left and right side, where a 10-foot setback is required. Since the proposed addition is maintaining over 50% of the existing house, the non-conforming setbacks are allowed to be maintained. Overall, the project does comply with the R110 district standards. This is a slide of a fire turnaround, which is uncommon, but it was something the applicant provided due to being a requirement from fire. The slide before you provides the location of the 667 square foot ADU along the right and rear side of the structure. The 993, the second story addition permits the creation of 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a small living area along the second story. Again, while the house is non-conforming due to having a non-conforming side yard setback, the house will retain more than 50% of the existing roof, and therefore the non-conforming setbacks are allowed to be retained. This is a breakdown of the roof plan on sheet A 1.11. Trying to get this to move. Again, this provides the roof plan and the proposed second story addition, which is located here, which is located along the center and right side of the building. The house is now more of a contemporary style with rectangular, with both simple massing and details that relate well to the low scale ranch style houses in the neighborhood. The project uses low sloped gable and hip roof forms, which are consistent with the gable and hip roofs found in the neighborhood. The proposed project uses more eclectic forms that includes the more formal entry, which is an integral part of the architectural style. The detailing and materials of the structure reflect a high level of quality and appropriate relationships to the materials found in the neighborhood. The project proposes including standing seam metal roof, longboard and stucco siding, black aluminum windows, metal garage door, and wood trim, which staff believes are integral to the proposed architectural design and compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. The primary wall plate of the second story is 8 foot 3 inches, and the second story, the second story plate height is 8 feet tall, which is standard for second story additions reviewed by the Design Review Commission. Staff found that the proposed plate heights are compatible with the immediate neighborhood context. Staff did work with the applicant to reduce the overall entry height by reducing the height 6 inches to reduce the overall scale and mass of the entry feature. Staff does believe the project is in keeping with the scale of other homes found in the neighborhood. The proposed 22.25 foot tall home is more than 4 3/4 feet shorter than the maximum permitted height of 27 feet. Houses in the neighborhood, 1 stories are between 17 to 20 feet and 23 to 25.25 feet for 2-story houses. Staff believes the second story, is centered within the roof form, that again, as like the previous design, to minimize perception of bulk. And staff believes the applicant has worked to reduce the overall bulk and scale of the structure to meet the design review findings. On the left side of the second story, there are 2 windows with 3 foot 6 inch sill heights. Generally, staff has concerns with side facing windows with sill heights lower than the 4 foot 6 inch standard established by the Design Review Commission. Any potential views from bedroom number 5 are obscured by the gable entry and the hip roof form. Privacy impacts from the bedroom number 4 are diminished due to being set back between 27.9 feet from the rear property line to 63.5 feet from the left side property line. And overall views are obscured by 4 mature African fern pine trees along the property lines. Staff continues to have concerns regarding potential privacy concerns due to the lower sill heights of the proposed windows. For bedroom number 4 on the left east elevation, staff does recommend condition 2A to require that the window sill height and window size be the minimum required per the building code standards. And that is a condition in your findings and conditions in the staff report. On the right east side of the second story, there are 4 windows with 3-foot 6-inch sill heights. To ensure that there are no additional privacy impacts, staff recommends condition 2B to raise the sill height of all windows to 4 foot 6 inches. With the proposed window sill heights, proposed windows will not create unreasonable privacy impacts. Bedroom number 4 will continue to have egress from the window along the west elevation with the minimum required sill height per the building code. Therefore, staff believes second story windows along the elevation will not create significant privacy impacts to adjacent properties. Along the rear north second story elevation, there is 1 large 3-panel window for a stairwell with really no sill height. It extends from the first story, first floor, finished floor level up through to the second story. Privacy impacts from these are diminished due to being set back 40 to 45 feet from the rear property line, 63.5 feet to the left property line, and overall views being obscured by 4 mature African fern pine trees along the property line. This provides the civil drawings that are provided in the plan sheet under C2. Staff did not find any significant impacts from the design. This provides the landscape plan. Staff should note the applicant did update the landscape plan and the site plan to add an updated tree schedule. And that was updated in the digital plan set. In addition, the applicant did update the naming of particular plant types in the proposed landscape plan. There are 6 trees proposed on the site. The applicant does propose to retain the trees. Landscape plan is proposed on sheet L1. Condition 11 will require the project confirm with the city's water efficient landscape ordinance. Overall, while not significantly detailed, the landscape plan does meet the intent of the city's landscape regulations and street tree guidelines. Staff's recommendation is to approve design review application SC 22-008 consistent with the financing conditions. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sean. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
None?
No questions.
Jude?
No question, no questions.
I do not have any as well. Is the applicant or the architect available, and would they like to speak on the project?
Hello, my name is Nick McCracken with M Designs Architects. I'm the architect for the project. Tanya and Rudra are on the call as well, the property owners there. I'll give a short presentation and then turn it over to Tanya and Rudra. We have a few additional renderings I just wanted to share with everyone here. Throughout this process, we've been working with Tanya and Rudra and the irregular shaped lot to figure out where to place this second story. It's been a fun form finding exercise. They are excited about adding this space so they can have parents come to stay and maybe live with them and have a little bit more room for their 2 kids as they finish up high school. Throughout the process, we've worked with Sean, who's been super helpful with us to maintain the low plate heights, the character of the neighborhood, and every piece of the landscaping that's there now, including all the trees on the backside and the citrus and vegetable garden they have in the backyard. We would appreciate removing the condition on the right side to keep the windows the size they are in our drawings, but we're open to feedback and discussion on that. And that's really all I have. I appreciate you all coming and hearing our presentation and seeing our project. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, and did the owners wish to speak? Sounded like they did.
Yes, just good evening, everyone. Thanks for giving us the chance and for working with us on the property. Just wanted to say that we've been living here for over 8 years now. We love the neighborhood. Our kids are growing up and our older boy just started high school at Los Altos. So we're looking forward to updating the property and making a little more space for our boys as they grow up. and our parents who visit us and live with us for, several months sometimes in the year. And just wanted to say thanks to our neighbors also as well. Thanks so much for staying on in spite of this going late. Appreciate it.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant?
No questions. I like the project.
Michael, Jude?
Just quick question on the ADU. Once again, we're not commenting on it, but the connection to the main house, is the intent to really not have a connecting door?
So, I mean, essentially, I think it is nice for us to have a little bit of privacy, not to have that connection. So we don't expect to have it. We'll either have our parents live there or rent it out later.
So just on that note, there's a substantial amount of space that's just a dead end hall at this point. Nick, the architect there, maybe he can figure out a better utilization of that space. Once again,
I think I know what you mean, and I asked for it because I do want to have access to the backyard from that side as well. So
yeah. Okay, well, once again, we're not going to comment on it, but it seems like there's an opportunity that's being missed.
Okay.
Anything else, Jude?
No.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead,
For the
Michael.
architect, I have a question, just a minor question for architect. Just curious, on the front elevation, south elevation, at the porch, based on the rendering and the front elevation, I see the two small. Is that the metal post supporting the porch roof? Is that the metal column?
Yeah, that's right. Just to support the overhang that kind of covers you as you come up to the house.
Got it. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I had.
Okay. Sean, do we have any public comment on this item?
I do not have currently anyone who's raised their hand. If any would like to speak on this item, please raise your hand. So there's a George Farber. And if there's any other parties who would like to speak, please raise your hand and we'll take you in the order that you place your hand. If you cannot raise your hand, then please unmute yourself after Mr. Farber speaks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. I'm George Farber. I think I'm almost an immediate neighbor, and I just want to express support. And I think that this is going to make our cul-de-sac look even nicer than it does now. So that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else, Sean?
Yes, there is a Mary Lou Newman.
Yeah, I just want to say we've lived in this cul-de-sac for 45 years, and we're thrilled. We're thrilled to have Tanya and Rudra not leave and add on to their house. And George's house that was just finished maybe a year ago is beautiful, and the cul-de-sac is looking very nice.
Great, thank you, Mary Lou. Sean, it looks like there's a Brian Wagensback.
Correct. Yes, Brian
Hi there.
Wagensback.
Yes, we're also neighbors, and again, just kind of support the project, and no issues from us.
Great, thank you, Brian. Anyone else, Sean?
I do not have anybody else who would like to speak on the item. Is there any member of the public who cannot raise their hand? And if so, please unmute yourself. There is no one else.
Okay. Traditionally, we give the applicant an opportunity for, I guess, quote, rebuttal. Everyone's supporting the project. So any further comments from the applicant?
Yes, just would like to thank you all again. Thanks so much for coming and staying and supporting the project. looking forward to getting it done hopefully soon and then enjoying it with everyone.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks everyone.
We'll go ahead and close off public comments. So let's make sure everyone's kind of muted and open up for commissioner discussion. Jude, you want to begin on this one?
Well, sure. Just on a side note, I was excited to go down this cul-de-sac because I believe Mr. Farber there, your home is lovely, and congratulations on that. That went through the Design Commission about 4 or 5 years ago, and we're very pleased to see it completed, and it looks great.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Coming to the current project, once again, I'm fully in support of this project. It's a challenging project because of the angles of the lot. Nick, I think you've done a good job trying to represent what's going to go on there, but given all the angles, it's hard to put a design on paper without, more of a three-dimensional model. So it would have been a little more helpful if I think you had some 3D modeling to support your presentation tonight. But regardless, I think it's going to look great. I am a little surprised there's not a connection internally to the ADU, but that's a issue for the family. I'm also pleased that the plate heights are very reasonable and very low, but I'm concerned that that's not the reality. I think they're going to be higher, but once again, that's between the architect and the owner to figure out how that's going to come through on construction. So overall, I'm in support of the project as designed, including the windows that were talked about by the applicant. So I can support the project tonight.
Okay. Sam?
Yes, I also am in support of the project.
Michael?
Yeah, same with other commissioner. The impact the second floor is very minimum. All the windows are fine. Consider all the mature trees along the property line. So I'm in favor of the project.
Okay. So question I bring up to commissioners is architect wants the windows on the right side to be as they presented versus what staff has done with building code. What are your thoughts on that? I would support it as it is written up here to have them with 2A in place to have, I'm sorry, the left side second story windows to have them no longer larger than the UBC or applicable building codes, minimal size. So I guess what the question is everyone in favor of the project as it has been presented by staff with the approval of condition 2A with the reducing or the building or the window size?
Well, I think my comment is I look at where those windows occur and the outreach. So one, there's been outreach, and two, the windows overlook roof lines of the adjoining neighbors. So it's not like there's a direct sight line to rear yards. So to me, once again, getting back to the architect, I'm trusting the architect in his understanding of what we look for. And I think they've met that in their design. And I appreciate staff's commentary, but in this case, once again, it's a challenging lot. So I would defer to the architect here as having the best solution.
Okay, and Sam, how about you?
I like the project as is and would defer to the architect as well.
Okay, well, as is includes 2A, which
Right.
is what the architect is asking to move out.
Yes, let me rephrase it. The architect's moving out is what I prefer.
Okay, Michael?
Yeah, I think so. Same, I agreed with other commissioner. Just defer to the architect.
Okay. So my understanding is from basically all of us, because I agree as well, that 2A would be taken out of the condition for approval on this project.
Yes.
Seeing as we're kind of down that line, any other further discussion?
None.
And if not, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move SC 22-0008331 Edna Court, findings and conditions with the removal of, is it finding number 2?
Condition 2A.
Number 2, yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's take a vote. Commissioner Ma?
Aye.
Commissioner Harding?
Aye.
Commissioner Carrick?
Aye.
And Commissioner Blockus, aye as well. So it's approved 4-0 of the, I guess, original plan with condition 2A regarding the windows as having been removed.
I'd also like to say I was on the commission when the Farber house was done. I think it's great. I'm also very impressed with the arrangement of the mailboxes. I remember that was quite a big conversation piece when we were doing your, so congratulations.
Thank you. All credit goes to the Newmans.
Yeah. Sean, you got that?
Yes, I do. I do have
Great.
it.
Thank you. Okay, well, congratulations. Let's move on to commissioners' reports and comments. Do we have any?
Thank you.
Any commissioner reports, comments? Sean, potential future agenda items? You're on mute.
Yes, we do have a filled agenda for next meeting. And we are starting to fill the second one in September. So we are not without a lack of projects.
Okay, and when is the new turnover or change, or don't we lose a couple coming up?
Yes,
and getting new?
It's my understanding the new commissioners would be seated in, it should occur in October, at the first meeting in October typically.
Okay.
And then typically, and then that first meeting, then they would hold, at that meeting, they would hold elections typically for a new chair and vice
Okay.
chair. So we could start to align. We had this discussion, I think, earlier this year about trying to align to that October schedule that the city clerk had established. So
Okay.
that'll be on a future agenda.
And outside of Jude really wanting to stay, is as I understand it, is Frank's term up? Or is he still here? Or I thought I had heard something that his term expires, or I'm not sure. Or is
Yes.
this appropriate to talk about?
Frank's term is expiring and he would need to reapply for reappointment, and then council would need to appoint Commissioner
Okay.
Bishop.
Okay, Jude, you had a question?
Yes, Sean, when are the interviews for the upcoming commissioners?
You want to make sure you're available?
No, I just want to hear who's coming on the commission.
I don't have those. I used to have them. I don't have those. I can always forward you that information. I can always speak to Angel and give you that information if you'd like.
Can you do that? I would love to sit
Absolutely.
in and hear who's coming on board. And I just want, and I know you're already in the loop on this, but I once again want to voice my disappointment that we will not be in person before I leave. So I've looked back. It's been well over 3 years since I've met with my fellow commissioners, and I want to express that this process is a personal process, and it's much more successful in person than it is virtually. So I hate to exit this commission on a virtual basis, but the reality of this is that I will not be able to see my fellow commissioners and the people that I talk to on a every other week basis. So can you relay that? I know Council Member Meadows is here tonight. And I would just want to say that I don't, it's so challenging for this commission to operate the way we do. And it's, once again, a disservice to everybody. So I would severely or highly recommend that everybody reconsider what's going on and get back in person, because there are many other jurisdictions that are meeting in person right now, combination. And I've gone by council chambers many times that are empty. And I'm a taxpayer. I'm a resident and a taxpayer. And it's a disservice to me as a resident not to have those council chambers in action. So I know this is a strong statement, but I wish somebody would take some action and step up to the table and get us back in person.
So Jude, so I did make sure to pass along your email to Nick Zorns and to John Maginot, and I believe the city manager reviewed it. Regretfully, I think over the this is our first week back again for planners back at City Hall, because we did have a very big jump of infections all throughout City Hall of employees. So I don't know if that was any part of delaying, but we for the last month, we've had significant increase in infections. And so some of us, since we only have really 2 planners working on these projects right now, I think there's a concern that we could lose the 2 planners we have left. So they had us pull back home again for the last month. So I think the city manager spoke to that right now they're not able to go back, but they are aware of your concerns, and I made sure to pass it along.
Well, on that note, I'll go out digitally then. So.
Anything else for the evening before we go ahead and adjourn?
Let's confirm the dates. The next meeting.
Well, it's going to be the 7th and the 21st.
Okay.
Can I confirm who may attend on the 7th?
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Actually, I may not. Well, I ref high school water polo, and I see I've got games. I'll have to check. I'll get back to you, Sean.
And second meeting in September on the 21st.
I'll be here.
I'm good. Jude's good. We don't know about Frank.
Yeah, I need to check again. September 7th. Okay, September. The 21st, I might be late.
Okay. We have a quorum, so that's fine.
Can I show up late?
Yes,
Or
you
no?
can. Yes, you
Okay.
can show up late. You may not be able to, as long as we have quorum on the first items, then you would just re-report it as late on the, it doesn't really affect you, but you would just be noted when you arrived, and then you can speak on this other items that haven't been addressed.
Okay. All righty. Anything else?
Nope.
All righty.
That's it.
We'll go ahead and it is 8:48 and we are hereby adjourned. Thank you all.